What's up? This is your boy Super, and I'm playing Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First, and we made it to the Harvest Grounds, the Mithra female seahorse lady boss after the Gargoyle Demon. So I realized, got to thinking about New Game Plus, and we got all these boss souls, we got all these extra souls, and I realized we haven't looked at any of the boss souls since we got our Dragon Rider bow. We don't even have a boss soul regular weapon, so I figured that we could do that. But it was a little bit too late because we wasted some upgrades in the last video, upgrading not to the ends we wanted. So just small upgrades to satisfy my desired progress that were ended up being meaningless anyway. But because I like the curved sword, it has A scaling with dexterity, but it doesn't have the 4 damage outputs. It gets physical, slash, and puncture. The weapon we had now started with the high physical, started with slash, had some bleed and some puncture, and then we put extra bleed onto it. And it started with the higher physical. I said that, but this one looks damn cool. I like the way it looks, and our other one scales with a B, but it's just not as good. And then the arc sword scales B and C. That's good. It has a very high physical damage to begin with, but still only 3. And it's a great sword. I don't do great swords. The rest we can't get. We can get the barbed club. This one seems pretty cool. It's a barbed club. It has 108 physical damage to begin with, which is decent. It has 67 bleed damage to begin with, which is decent. 120 slash, 25 puncture, and skill C and C, strength and dexterity. That's pretty good. But then the gargoyle's bite, and this one seemed cool because it has A scaling with strength. That's our highest stat. Nice starting stats, Brutus Spear. I'm not too interested in that, and it doesn't have any extra effects on it. But what did look interesting is the skeletal lord. So when we beat the skeletal boss, right, I was thinking maybe this has something to do with defeating the levels after that. But our biggest problem is poison resistance, and a weapon's not going to help much poison resistance. But this does look cool. It scales B with dexterity and C with dark. It has very high physical damage at 124, very high dark damage at 100. 120 high slash damage, 35 puncture, which is above average. That looks like a damn good weapon, but it's a halberd. Well, I can do long arms. I like range. They're slow to attack, but I like the range. We could also use the Covetous Demon Soul to get the Bone Scythe with scales A with strength. Has 130 as the starting stat, 110 slash, 15 puncture. So its high physical damage rounds out its low puncture, and the lack of an extra status effect like bleed, poison, dark lightning. So that would make the roaring halberd with the skeletal lord soul the best option. We can't get anything else. I guess the rest of the boss souls are for spells. So I guess we're just saving them for souls and maybe New Game Plus, because like if this game was a little bit different, I would probably like to collect every boss weapon, put a status effect on every boss weapon, and then try them and test them out. But the game doesn't allow that for you, and to still enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? We're lucky we can experiment with what little we can. So we got all these boss souls. We're not going to do anything. We don't need to level up. But since I got here and I was doing all this, I realized you can read the descriptions of every boss soul, whether or not you buy all of these. Pursuer's Ultra Great Sword of the Pursuer, known as the mightiest of the straight swords. It demands great strength and dexterity of its wielder. Pursuer hunts down those branded by the curses of each undead soul that he claims will atone of his sins. Warped Sword, a curved sword forged from the soul of the flexile sentry, once straight but later twisted to reflect its warped owner. The sentry crammed inmates of the overflowing Bastille into a rickety ship and cast them out to the open sea. The majority of them drowned or starved, but a few hardy survivors made land to the south. and imparted their knowledge of sorcery to the people there. That's a cool looking sword. I wish it was better. A scaling with dexterity, I like that, but like we could make that worthwhile. We're a little low on dexterity now, but we're not far behind on dexterity, and it's high enough to reap somewhat benefits, but our highest stat strength. Arc sword, we've read that. Giant stone axe, great axe forged from the last, we've read that. Barbed club, a club forged from the soul of the flexile century. The spikes covering its length are as vile as the century itself. The century crammed in. Okay, we read that. Gargoyle biting. This is new. A two-pronged spear that imitates a weapon mentioned in that ancient text. Gargoyles are said to guard castles, forts from ill fortune. They have appeared in many forms in all of the great lands throughout history. Some of them are so meticulously crafted that they look as if they might come to life. But that, due to its lack of status effects and its lower stats, so it goes behind the old halberd. We've had the Dragon Rider sword. I'm not sure we read all these. I didn't look at it as a lore and story or world building at the time. I was just looking for my weapon, so I probably read the first 2 or 3 and got my weapon and stopped. Roaring Halberd. Halberd forged from the soul of a skeleton lord, imbued with the power of the dark. The unsettling skull carved into his halberd recalls the final moments of the skeleton lord from whom it was created. Bone Sith. Sith forged from the soul of a covetous demon. The curved spine of the covetous demon is hard as a rock, and rather than slicing through flesh, this weapon seems to grind it apart. That thing that ended up monstrous, what was it to begin with, and why did it never leave the queen? Perhaps it was entranced by some perversion of love. So those are all new. Great shields. I wish we could compare it to our current gear easily from this screen. But we can't get any of them anyway. I like the twin blade too. And I was clearing out the enemies here at the Huntsman Copse, and I ended up having both summons out. And they got me thinking about the chariot boss that's still here. And one thing led to another, and out in my mind, and I was thinking about we have a lure that can lure enemies away from me. That was the problem. While I was killing the warlocks, the skeletons would gang up on me and outnumber me. And we have an alluring skull, which lures certain types of enemies. You know, it figures the skull lures the resurrecting skeleton, so I tried it in the caves there, and it worked. It didn't last for very long, but it could do its job. And, you know, it could lure them out into the chariot, which crushes them, so that'll give me even more time. And if I get there with both summons, that'll be even better. But there's also a ring that lures enemies. No, that lures enemies to you. Let me see. Maximum HP, physical defense, equipment degradation, petrification, resistance, physical attack. Enemy poise, defense when HP is low. Weapons counterattack, thrust weapons counterattacks. Attunement of additional spells. Fallen foes yield more souls ×2. Absorb HP ×2. Regen. Limits HP when hollow. Fall damage. Apostles of the blue ring. Bellkeeper. Because the apostle of the blue ring increases HP slightly. We got Soul Spear, Chameleon, Combustion. We got a lot of varieties of arrows. So if we can get 2 summons and use the skulls to I was thinking about giving another shot. We got too many souls right now. Hmm. 14,000 we need. 18,005. But we can do a boss soul, a pole arms boss soul weapon, our first variation from the average size sword. And it would be the Roaring Halberd, 100 dark damage, 120 slash, 35 puncture, 125 physical. That's pretty damn good. This is only 6 higher in physical, but minus 100 in dark, minus 10 in slash, minus 20. But it scales A, the strength. But this may not scale A with anything, but it scales with 2 things instead of 1. Oh, we gotta have stats for this. We got to have faith to 12 and intelligence to 12. That's absurd. It is, maybe on the New Game Plus we could use it 12. Faith and intelligence both 12. Our faith is at intelligence is at 3. Faith is at now. We could do faith pretty easily. That's expensive though. Jeez, that's like 9 plus 3. That's 12 levels. That's over a quarter. That's like a quarter of a million souls. Damn. We know at the very least we could just buy it right now. So let's get that. We can use it without our stats, but we're not gonna get the full benefits. And what does he have for sale? Hood of the Forlorn we bought. The Soul Vessel ring, that's neat. I could use that, you know, just I don't know what. If we're no longer as we're not, I don't know. I mean, it could be used and it could be an inconvenience. I don't want the healing items. I don't really need spells. I guess we'll take the ring and see what it does. Come on, shut up. And we'll equip the ring instead of the vampire ring. I like how they're easy to identify. The Covenant rings all have the circle gems on, the circle marble type things on them, and this has the emptiness. And the vampire ring looks like a class ring, so it's easy to identify. The cat ring, I'm sure if I paid a close enough attention, they're all easily identifiable. Gold finger, silver finger, blue normal ring, circle globe ring, chain ring, serpent ring, square ring. We only got one of them. So soul ring and soul ring. So since now we got 2 healing items, HP and got the vampire ring and regen ring for when we need health. We got the extra souls ring and the soul container ring for when we need souls. Let's go look at upgrade this boss weapon. Infuse it with anything except poison. It's funny, the 2 areas after, you know, if you go to the map where we defeated the last boss right here, and then the 3 areas after, you barely get any souls from these 3 areas. They're not even worth farming for souls. That's weird. Let's see. Infuse the old boss halberd here. Roaring halberd. Oh, we can put poison on this. That's weird. Yes, that'll be 5 aspects of damage on there. I think we're gonna end up going with maybe bleed or lightning. I think bleed would give us the most, but it's probably a good reason because it's like the worst, I guess. About lightning is what we don't have right now. Let's go with lightning. We don't have a lightning stone, so we're gonna hold off on that. I guess we're heading back to get more souls now. Got a great deal of enemies cleared out of here. I hope we can still get the summons. Oh, upgrading armor. I forgot about upgrading armor. Reinforcing armor. Should have been killing this guy the whole time. The archer. Then this guy. And then that guy. Oh, this guy. Oh no! I think there's one more over there. There he is. Should the left, to the left. It's gonna take a long time to get 17,000 souls from this level. I don't think we can. Without killing the boss. What are you doing out here? Frog's still here. With his balls on his chin. Oh, he's happy to see me too. Healing force. Alright, partner. Mr. Torch still spawns. Mr. Moldy Buttfly. Large Titan, and 1,000 souls. How could you not want to come down here and do this? We got like hours and hours of torches. Who said that? Was that you? It doesn't look like it was him. Looks like it was somebody on this side. But I shouldn't have shot him because now we can't get the poison moss. Well, we're back up. Well, we were at 13,000, weren't we? Somewhere around there. Well, we wasted it all. Oh, the ring. I got the ring on, don't I? So how does that work? I would say that we just die and retain souls. That would be my guess. That would be fucking a sick joke if we just lost souls. It just sucked them in and we couldn't get them back. That would be terrible. I thought there would be some kind of indication how many he's holding. Some old throwing knives. I don't think I've used one of those this entire game. We're not gaining any souls, they are going into the ring. We've been at 78-19 this whole time. Why would you do that? And this butterfly stopped spawning. And that one. Bummer. And we got no summon. And then this one, well, there's summons is never in that one. So let's skip it. And this one. This guy. Still at 78-19. If it wasn't for that guy in the cell, we could go straight to this, and the people in the building. This guy's been getting his ass beat forever. Come on now, guy. Get your head in the game here. Still at 78-19. It can't hold them an infinite amount, geez. Wonder if we can still spend them. Oh crap. Good. You got a small yellow bird. And there's like consumables, magic effects I could be applying to any weapon that I haven't been using in any capacity. I had deja vu. Like always. This is where I tested out the alluring skulls. And then that guy we just killed and it worked. I don't understand how these curses work. I smashed every pot without getting cursed. But I also still heard the voices. The laughing. I don't know what the deal with that is. Looks like it's just that one pot. Still hear laughing. Oh, there's the naked man. This is where I always kill him at. With the old bow here. Here's his head. He drops something every time too. Amber herb. And that's it. Still at 7819 souls. We look in inventory. This says durability 495 out of 500. Weight 0.2. 2 hours of torch. Oops. Where did it go? If we took it off, we just lost all the souls. We're still at 7819. Look, that's so stupid. How could you fool me like that, man? I put it back on. Man, I should have read. We probably lost like a 3,000 souls right there. I mean, it's not nothing in leveling up terms, but as far as iron arrows and regular arrows, that was a big mistake there. That's so you can cheat at multiplayer. Like, so you want to stay level 1, but have, or stay whatever level you're at with your weapons upgraded to whatever they are. But the more souls you absorb, they take you and rank you against other higher players. So you want to stay versus low-level players, so it absorbs the souls for you. I can't say I approve of that. So what other ring? Vampire ring? And let's just go with Legion ring. I guess that'll work. So why has it got a hole in it like it stores them for later? Why? It could have been anything if it just throws them away. A crystal that absorbs souls and, dissipates them into nothing. You purposely make it like it's a container to fool people. Fuck. Not something I can say I would have made in the game. Thought there was a person hanging there. I'm actually gonna pause for a minute and be back. Oh, we both died, damn it.